Philadelphia Eagles will be right back up against the AFC East. The previous week, after facing the Jets, they will be facing the Miami Dolphins. And this one will be a Tuesday. So I think this is our second biggest test, and a slew of games to come that are going to be a real gauntlet for this squad. But before we get into that today, we're going to look at some injuries that occurred and address their longevity and prognosis. What's up, it's your boy Syndrome. Come back at you with another analysis video that kid you not. That's my real name. Like I said, we're up against the Dolphins, a squad that made the playoffs last year and looked to be more formidable this year, and adding some players. We'll get to one of them that is not going to be a factor in this matchup, but maybe for the long term for them. But first, for that same very reason, we're getting to some of our guys that are not going to be available in the immediate future because of injuries. So Hassan Reddick has had to have thumb surgery. He's going to be out, but hopefully he's going to be able to make it for the week one game. Even if he wasn't, he'd have a club, and he could be effective with that. So it'll shift. It would shift some things for him, in particular his pass rushing moves, and maybe had a little more weightiness. He wouldn't be able to pick things or pick balls off and have limited range and maybe swipes and things like that. But he would still be very effective getting to the quarterback. Let's not kid ourselves there. So we have plenty of rushers to come in and stand in for him. We're stocked at edge rusher. But he is one of our best players on defense, if not the best player on defense. So hopefully he's available for week one and able to take that cast off somewhere in the early first quarter of the season. But we had other guys go down in that Browns game. Nolan Smith, his shoulder checked out. He should be good to go. Looked like a light injury. So was Olamide Zaccheaus or Oz. His shoulder injury looked to be of the light variety, so they both came back into the game. Someone I didn't cover, Andrews, our backup center, second stringer right now. He had an ankle injury, but he came back to the sideline just like those guys, so it looks to be something that he can work through. And maybe it wouldn't affect these guys in week one, or they wouldn't be too limited. But now to our more serious injuries, our cornerback Zach McPherson, who had been the backup slot guy and moonlighted on the outside, particularly in this Browns game that we just had. He is out for the season with that Achilles injury, so unfortunate break for him. He was defending the pass, and just as he dove for it, I'm sure you heard a popping sound. Felt like someone kicked him in the back of the leg, and he looked to see someone was behind him. No one was, and just one of those freak injuries happened to me. So I'm now a bioengineered human, but he'll be back next year, and I think he's going into year 4. He'll be going into year 4 next year, or he was going into year 4 this year. Anyways, I think it'll be the last year of his deal. So we had a guy like Sidney Jones, who we drafted in the second round, coming off an Achilles injury. Never able to get right, and never really kind of made a mark here in the league. But he still has a chance, but the chances are that he won't. But who else went out? Moro Ojomo, neck injury, but also he got concussed. He'll be out for a little bit of duration until he passes the concussion protocol. So was Tyree Cleveland, same neck injury. They both had movement in their extremities, so that that was a good sign. But he was concussed as well, so they both entered the protocol and will have to be cleared independently by an independent doctor. So on to the Miami Dolphins. Just covered our injuries a little bit. Hopefully that's the height of the injuries we'll experience in the early part of the season, because I'm sure they're coming, because on a balance of probabilities we escaped very fortunately last year, and we'll see how it goes this year. Anyways, man, on to somewhat of an injury prone guy in the early running, but Miami Dolphins, man, the roster is pretty good. They have pretty good depth at certain positions, and a bevy of explosive and premier players at different positions. So first, let's get Tua Tagovailoa. It's finally able to say it. Wow, one take, one go. Night at it, kids. He's a good distributor, playmaker, point guard at quarterback. His main issue is health, man. Can he stay healthy? And given his injury history, he's he's missed time. I think the past 2 seasons with injuries, and it just hasn't worked out for him. But hopefully, fingers crossed, this is his year. But I think he's still a budding talent at the position because he's been in and out of the lineup. Chiefly named last year when he suffered 3 concussions, serious concussions, and they finally put him out for the year. But yeah, man, he can distribute nicely, but I don't think he still hasn't fully developed. So can he take that next step? Did he take it this offseason? We will see. But he's like a top 15 and 20 quarterback in that range. Has that potential, but also could be a little worse than that when he's not protected. But anyways, Raheem Mostert. I mean, he can be a game breaker. He's a talented guy, a little bit older than he was coming into the league, but he still maybe has 4.3 wheels, and he can be a dangerous guy. He also has some receiving chops. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, man, 2 highly talented guys. With Tyreek coming in, Jalen was able to play second fiddle, similar to Devontae Smith here in Philly, and Tyreek had 1,700 yards last year. He started off really hot. Second most receiving yards in the league last year behind Jay Jetter, Justin Jefferson. And he's a highly talented guy. He's going to be difficult to deal with. I would put Darius Slay on him, but you might have to bracket cover them. Not might. You're going to have to do it sometimes. And how do we face that challenge? So if Tua is able to just get the ball off to him without D-line getting to him and us being able to put pressure on him, watch out, man. It could be a long day. And Jalen Waddle is similarly dangerous. Tyreek's a 4.2 runner. Jalen Waddle is a 4.3 guy. I mean, just damn. They're just explosive on the offense, man. Braxton Berrios is a solid guy. He runs nice routes there in the slot. But Jalen, man, he can be equally as dangerous on screens, smoke screens, quick hitters, and things like that. So outs, slants. Both these guys, can take the ball and house it any day of the week. So they're guys, like Bradbury. I mean, like these are both quicker, faster, like receivers. I don't know who you put them on here. Maybe Jalen, but he's definitely got him outflanked on the speed front. And we're not going to shade to him, too much. So, going to look for him to lock down maybe that short game first, and then adjust as it goes. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how we play them, but they can be game breakers. They are game breakers. Durham Smythe, decent talent there, tight end. Taron Armstead, an above average left tackle. He's a very good pass blocker, and he's athletic on his end. Liam Eichenberg, solid guy. Connor Williams, between solid and a jag. Robert Hunt, nothing special. Isaiah Wynn, solid guy there, right tackle. So they have, a solid O-line. They can be broken down, though. We'll get into that a little bit later. But first, the threats on defense, man. Jalen Phillips came up with, I think, 8 or 8.5 sacks last year. So he kind of turned it on, went a little cold, but he has the talent. And going into, I think, his 3rd year, he got the edge rusher out of Miami. Staying there in Miami with the pros, he's got to be watched. So Jordan Mailata is going to have a lot of good matchups this year, and this is going to be one of them. Testing can he handle a speed rusher? Emmanuel Ogbah, a solid 3-4 guy. He's a gapper. Christian Wilkins, man, he's a threat to watch out. But I think Jason Kelsey could handle him nicely. So we'll get to a little bit of that later, but. Bradley Chubb, man, what is he going to bring? I don't know if he was coming off an injury last year, but I don't know if he had a full season last year, but he certainly can be dangerous. He had 12 sacks, tops in his 1 year in Buffalo. With Denver Broncos, playing opposite Von Miller, so the guy does have some talent. David Long patrols like nobody else. I think he was coming, I know he's from a Michigan guy. I think he came from the Titans, so there was a good pickup for them. Jerome Baker, decent guy. Jalen Ramsey was really the highlight, the trade. They brought him in, trade acquisition, but he's going to be out for this game. That replacement is Eli Apple, and he's definitely not the apple of the defense's eye here. So he can get overwhelmed. But Xavier Howard, solid guy. He's a pick magnet since coming to the league. He's like top 5 in the league with the number of picks he's been able to snag. I think he's came close to getting double digits a couple years, but 6, 7 picks. Yeah, he hit those numbers. Kyler Coho don't really know, but I think he's a rookie. Javon Holland and Brandon Jones, man, 2 solid safeties. I think Javon Holland being the better safety, but Brandon Jones also talented in his own regard. So they have a solid secondary. It'd be a lot better if they had Jalen out there, but he's gonna be recovering from that meniscus injury. But let's get into seeing how they stack up against the offensive and defensive units respectively. Tua, I mean, like he can be had, so we gotta put pressure on him. Don't let this guy get into a rhythm and get comfortable back there. Raheem Mostert, lane discipline. So our linebackers, how they match up with him, and coverage in space. I don't know how we're gonna do. We've seen Nakobe Dean struggle a little bit in the preseason, as well as in practice. He's covering backs and tight ends, shooting gaps, sure, but covering space it can get very interesting. He's one of our more talented guys on that front, but that may not be saying much. Tyreek Hill, man, like I said, him and Jalen going up against Darius Slay and James Bradbury. We're gonna have our hands full, man, and we're gonna need help at times because they just have game breaking speed. A 4.27 guy and a 4.3 guy. That's just dangerous, man. 4.31, I think, or 4.32. I mean, he's a blur. So I mean, it's gonna be interesting how we to see how Sean Desai deploys against those guys. Tight end and third receiver, I'm not really counting too much because we should be able to take care of those guys. The line here, they have some talent. Like I said, Terran Armstead, I think he's struggled in recent years with his health. So is he even going to be available? Or going to be compromised? And he's slowed down over the years, so it's affected his technique and such. But yeah, they can be had, man, especially in the interior of that line. I have a strong D line. We bring guys in waves. It says almost every video, but I mean, it's just hard to compete against in a group of guys such as them. One thing we don't have is too much experience. We have a lot of youth on the interior of our line. You guys in years 3, 2, and 1, primarily surrounded by I think an 11-year veteran in Fletcher Cox. So if we were to lose him, that would be a big loss. Not speaking just specifically in regards to ability, but just a strong voice and a guy who knows the ins and outs of the NFL and has good eyes recognition wise. So their D line, man, they have some good talented group of guys. It's just we have the best O line in the league. I'll just be real. The unit it's so hard to penetrate. And if they play together, I don't see any group out there being able to dominate our guys. Be competitive. I mean, are we going to be perfect? No, but being just wholesalely assailable. Nah, I don't see it. So, the linebackers. I mean, David Long. I think he's a solid coverage guy. So, it'll be interesting how they play our running backs. And like DeAndre Swift is going to be a chess piece that we're going to be able to deploy all across the formation and challenge and be able to make clear their assignments. Okay, they're marking it with man. Okay, it's zone. Use those guys as tails and how we attack them as well as our tight end Dallas Goedert. It's hard to find a guy that can match up with him one-on-one. Even these safeties, they have the size, but they don't. They have the speed, but they don't have the size. And he's a pretty fast guy, so I'm like, or like the linebackers, they have the size. David Long, I think he's a longer guy, no pun intended, but they don't have the speed, to keep up with him. So it's just a lose-lose situation. And then the corners, I like Xavier Howard, but even him against AJ, AJ's a bigger guy. I think they would match up with him. And I would think, Jalen, they would put, if he was available, they'd put him on they might, I mean, I see it going either way, but I can see them putting him on AJ Brown, but, going either way. But Xavier would be the one I would attack because he likes to jump routes, and I'd take advantage of that by putting Smitty on him and seeing if he can come over. But, man, I like us to win this matchup just because I think we can take advantage of their spots in the secondary and then deploying special assignments in our running backs and tight ends to overwhelm them, to flood the field, make you defend every blade of grass. And then on offense, I think we can contain their offense. I'm not saying we can wholesale fully stock them, but we have the personnel to match up with those guys, and we trust them on the outside. So it might really come down to safety play. And who's playing out there? Is it Terrell Edmonds? Is it Sidney Brown across from Reed Blankenship? Because he's playing plays, and I think he's going to be a solid guy there for us, and could be a CJ Minor, if you will. So, anyways, let's look at picking some other information. But Robbie Anderson, man, I don't know if he fits as a number 3 option, but he does bring the speed. Devin A-Chain, who I forgot, did run a 4.32, has speed, so they use him as a swing a third down back. Could get interesting. Yeah, man. Yeah, he's missed over 5 games per year since 2016. So, like I said, he's even going to be out there. But, yeah, I really like that signing as well. And we'll see. Yeah, can he return back to form? But that's it for the video for today. Shorter video by my standards. But anyways, it's all good because you're not even watching, though. But as I always say, I love making these videos regardless of people watching or not. Good for, to practice the form, practice the craft. But anyways, as always, it's fly, Eagles, fly, and let's motherfucking go. Like, comment, share, and subscribe if you like. Thanks for watching. Check me out at Centron Anime, Centron Life, or Centron Laughs, or other social media.